CMF is a more affordable sub-brand to Nothing, and here's their first phone, the CMF Phone 1. Now we all know Nothing's great with hype, and the CMF Phone 1, it's been hyped a whole lot. And it also looks vibrant, colorful, and does a lot of things that's quite unique. But is it actually any good? Let's take a look in today's unboxing and first impressions video. If this is your first time here, or in case you just can't remember, my name is Ash, you're watching C4 eTech, and let's get started. Let me walk you through the unboxing experience. I was sent this huge media kit by Nothing. But now, you guys know there are a bunch of accessories that Nothing plans to sell with this phone, and this is pretty much everything right here. Now the back panel for this phone, it's totally user replaceable, and while the Phone 1 CMF sent me is boring black, with these cases I can switch it to green or blue or the CMF orange if I wanted to. Then there is a stand, a lanyard, and finally a card wallet. And of course there's the CMF Phone 1 retail box here. And there's a compartment below that includes some other devices CMF is launching today, ones we aren't going to be focusing on in this video. But if you want me to cover any of this, let me know in the comments. Okay, getting to the CMF Phone 1, the box is pretty sleek and I'm sure you know why. Opening it up, we are at once greeted by the Phone 1. Let me get it out of the protective cover. Now here, how it works, there's this knob to the bottom that you can screw off. And before we talk about that, let me actually get you through the anemic box contents. Don't worry, there's not a lot here. There's a USB Type-C to Type-C cable, an informational booklet, and a customized CMF SIM tool. That's everything in the box. So now coming back to the CMF Phone 1, here let me show you an example of how an accessory works with a lanyard. Here you get another knob for the bottom. Just screw it in and clip the lanyard to it. You can then wear your CMF Phone 1 around your shoulder like this. They say it's all the rage with young people, but what do I know? I'm too old for this shit. You can do something similar with the stand attachment. Wait, so does this mean you gotta use your phone without a case? If that's your question, well yeah. Since the back panel here wraps all around the sides, when you replace it, you're replacing the entire part of what a case usually covers. So using the CMF Phone 1 without a case on, it's not really a bad idea. Anyways, coming back, this is the card wallet attachment, and this one's a little more complicated to install. Honestly, I am not a huge fan. It feels a little too plasticky to me. I personally wouldn't risk my cards in it. But hey, if you wanna, here's how you do it. Use the screwdriver included with the card wallet, not with the Phone 1. Use it to remove these 3 screws. Actually, let me remove the 4th screw up top too. When you do this, the entire back panel comes off. Do remember to remove the SIM tray first. And beat it up, this one, it supports microSD. Neat, right? I really think CMF have missed an opportunity here. They could have provided a user replaceable battery. I asked them and they said they did think about it but finally decided against it since it would affect the IP52 rating. What do you guys think? Would you have liked to see a user replaceable battery here? Maybe with an old school card/microSD slot underneath? What do you think? Leave a comment. Anyways, to swap the back, here you get a screwdriver, replacement screws, a color match SIM tray, and another knob. So just pop it on, put the screws on, and actually to me, leaving the old SIM tray gives it a contrast that I liked. Here's how the other cases look. The light green with the orange tray and knob, this looks the best in my humble opinion. I'ma leave my phone this way. So let me go ahead and screw the back panel on. Do note that the black and light green have a slightly textured finish, while the orange and blue are vegan leather. Now one thing I noticed when playing with these accessories was that the stand looks to be a cool concept, sure, but it definitely is not one that can be left on at all times. At least to me, it just feels very weird to hold the phone in hand with the stand at the back. Now the phone itself, it's got very angular edges, almost sharp. It feels boxy, and the bezels to the front mean it's also quite wide at 77mm. So me personally, I've said this many a time, I'm not a fan of boxy builds, so this was not very comfortable to me. To be fair, the thickness and the weight, they are kept manageable at 197 grams and 8mm. That's for the plastic version, slightly more for vegan leather. And this, given the 5000 mAh battery, it's fine. Now talking about the battery, it can be charged at up to 33 watts. Of course, there is no included charger here, but 33 watts should get you from 0 to 50% in about 20 minutes. Now switching over to the front, we've got a 6.67-inch Super AMOLED LTPS panel. It's an 8-bit panel, but it's got a Full HD Plus resolution, 120Hz adaptive refresh rate. You get 240Hz touch sampling and 960Hz high-frequency PWM dimming under low light to reduce eye fatigue. CMF claims a brightness peak of 2000 nits, but that's for HDR. In our testing, we got almost 800 nits under the manual mode and 1400 under auto, so it seems like a good quality panel given the asking price. Now to the top of this display sits a 16 megapixel selfie camera in a hole punch, and it seems to do a reasonably good job with the selfies when it comes to sharpness and detail. In some cases though, like this, I found the skin tones way off. This is something CMF should address with an update. Selfie video tops out at 1080-60, but it's got the same skin tone issue and some noticeable EIS jitter. To the back, you get a dual camera setup. The primary is Sony's 50 megapixel IMX882. It's been paired with a f1.8 lens that's not optically stabilized. Initial impressions, it seems to do very well under good light. You can shoot images like this with a shallow depth of field. The dynamic range is good and the colors appear balanced. The saturation is not pushed too much, so the images, they're natural and pleasant. Low light performance though is quite mid. Images are soft, maybe it's the lack of OIS here that hurts. They aren't terrible given the price, but I feel like under good light this camera punches above its weight class, and here it doesn't. That said, where the lack of OIS really hurts this phone is when shooting video. Now the 4K footage isn't too detailed, which is kinda okay for the segment, but the EIS jitter is very harsh and it's very noticeable to the point where I feel the footage, it's borderline unusable. CMF definitely needs to address this one. The secondary, it's a token depth sensor. I would have preferred even a run-of-the-mill 8 megapixel ultra-wide instead. Now on the software front, the CMF Phone 1 runs on Nothing OS 2.6 built atop Android 14, and as you can see, it's got all the Nothing features like the monochrome icon, and despite the lower price tag, still comes without bloat. CMF has promised 2 years of Android version upgrades and 3 years of security patches, which for the segment is not bad. The user experience, it seems fine. The light OS coupled with the competent chip on the inside means I didn't notice a whole lot of drop frames or lag in the limited time I spent with this phone. Now talking about the chip on the inside, this one's powered by the MediaTek Dimensity 7300. This SoC is paired with 6 or 8 gigs of LPDDR4X RAM and 128 or 256 gigs of UFS 2.2 storage, which can be further expanded via microSD if needed. It's worth noting that they've done well with the cooling. The Phone 1 didn't seem to exhibit any overt signs of overheating or throttling. So anyways, this is the CMF Phone 1. This phone starts at 15,999 with offers. And while there is definitely a lot more testing to be done, especially with respect to what this SoC can and cannot do, the Phone 1, it does feel fresh. When was the last time you saw something innovative at this price point? So at the very least, I feel like this is a very interesting phone considering the price. So what do you guys think about the CMF Phone 1? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Ash out.